Hello traders and welcome to another video review. Today is Thursday, March 26, 2026. Let's take a look. What do we have on the economic calendar for today? So let me just mark the important and very important data releases. There you go. So what do we have here? US President Donald Trump gave a speech already. German consumer climate data published at 8 o'clock. Deteriorate even further from minus 24.8 to minus 28. So the consumer climate in Germany deteriorates. Spanish GDP up from 0.6 to 0.8 as expected. Interest rate decision in Norway at the market participants expected the 4% and they got the 4%, so no change here. We got the speech from the Guinders already, but we are still waiting for the US session. And what do we have here? Initial jobless claims scheduled for release at 1:30. Wholesale sales scheduled for release at 1:30 as well, but this data are from Canada. Then we have the Bank of Canada Senior Deputy Governor Rogers will give a speech at 5 o'clock. Then we have the 7-year note auction from the USA at 6 o'clock. And at the end of the day, we got Fed's balance sheet scheduled for release at 9:30. So this is what is going on right now at the calendar. So not very busy situation here, but you know the geopolitical tensions and the other factors that impact the financial markets are always on. So without any further ado, we leave the calendar and let's switch to the charts. So we start with euro dollar. Euro dollar 4-hour time frame chart very likes this trend line. It looks like the trend line here is attacked a lot of time and the bulls really want to break out. Look at this. Even if we apply this line somewhere here, it doesn't have to be, you know, to the pip. You can see clearly that this situation here is very tense and the market really wants to go higher. However, all of that structure, look at this structure, is corrective. We got movement to the upside, movement to the downside. Movement to the upside, overlaps of the previous movement. Movement to the upside, overlaps of the previous movement. So it's definitely not some sort of the impulsive wave. And because it is right now in between the trend line and 100 periods moving average, it's still being regarded as a corrective cycle, right? So we are waiting for the corrective cycle to complete. For now, we got 1.1640, 1.1631 local highs. Nevertheless, the previous high of the wave 4 has not been violated just yet, which means the chances for this market to continue to the downside are getting higher. Momentum wise, we are just below the level of 50 and the market is starting to position itself to test the lower levels unless there is a definite strong and aggressive breakout above 1.1640. Then the outlook will change a little bit to a little bit more bullish with targeting the previous wave 4 high. British pound, almost the copy of the euro dollar. Complex corrective structure just a little bit above that trend line, nevertheless still inside of this range between the odd wave 4 or odd wave 5, so between 1.3214 and 1.3480. Now local high has been established as exactly at 1.3478, 2 pips below the wave 4 high. So we got all of this situation, all of this movement to the upside covered, right? So it's been retraced fully. Nevertheless, as you can see, momentum goes from the 40 to the 60, from the 40 to the 60 or 50, let's say 61 or 57. Right now, volatility is lower and the momentum is just below the level of 50 and the price is sitting on 100 periods moving average at 1.3357, just above the trend line. All right, so now we are waiting for the breakout. One breakout above 1.3478 bullish, breakout below low of the wave 5 at 1.3218 bearish. US dollar versus the Japanese yen. Bulls are still fighting for the higher levels. Nevertheless, it's directly opposite of what the euro dollar and cable is doing. Smash to the downside, retracement. Smash to the downside, retracement. Bulls are strong on this market. You can see it on the momentum. You can see how the bulls are covering all of the lost ground while they are being attacked by the bears. Nevertheless, let's play some local lines here. So we got the local technical resistance 159.66, and obviously this level here will be regarded as a technical resistance. So another range needs to be resolved, but this time the chances for moving higher are quite bigger. Gold market, big slump to the lows of the wave C in our situation, and the lows of the wave C are roughly around 4,000. Yes, low is 4,098, 4,100. Big nice retracement towards 4,600, and now below the technical resistance we go. The fuel for the breakout lasted for 4 hours, and then next day we've been below the 4,400 again. So right now, quite nice movement to the upside. Nevertheless, it doesn't actually mean that the bottom for the wave C is done. We don't have any confirmation. The confirmation comes with breakout above 4,995 or above the wave behind. That's the 100% confirmation. For now, this big correction here on the 4-hour time frame chart might be completed, might be not, because it can always evolve into a more complex and time-consuming one. All right, so ABC, the primary basic simple ABC correction is done. It looks like done. Now let's wait for the market to see what it is going to do. Nice pin bar here, extension to the upside, breakout above the first technical resistance. Let's see whether the gold will be able to move above it. New local low on SP 500, 6,431. Big bounce to the upside, almost towards the supply zone, and then ABC to the downside, 3 waves that are being developed below the level of 50. Right now RSI 43 points only. We are below the supply zone, below the 100 pips moving average. The outlook remains bearish on S&P 500. Crude oil, well, 101 level had been rejected at least 4 times. Then we got the rejection from 93. Nevertheless, now we are back. The bulls are back in the game, trying to retrace the lost ground back above the level of 92. Right now local high 94.11, and the bulls keep moving higher. So the chances for getting as close as 100 as it is possible are quite high, especially because the momentum broke above the level of 50 yet again. Very nice 4-hour time frame chart sequence of the green candles from the yesterday to today covered a lot of the ground. It looks like the bulls are still trying to move up. The Bitcoin is not doing much and is having problem after breaking 71,000. As you can see, local high, let me just change this situation here. Local high $72,026, rejected little bit of the pullback and rejected even more. Volatility gets a little bit lower than it used to be last time. Even if we move our trend line a little bit lower, we don't have to do it, but if we move it to the newest data a little bit lower, there is still some support from this trend line. Nevertheless, it might not be that easy for the bulls to move above this level. Let me just place local technical support instead of the resistance. Local technical support 67,368, and this is below the level of the 70. So right now that part of the chart is telling us we are still trading around the level of 100 pips moving average on 4-hour time frame chart. Nevertheless, there is not much confidence in this movement to the upside, because every attempt of the bulls on moving higher getting smashed or capped by the bears. Another attempt getting capped by the bears. So there is still fighting here around the 100 pips moving average for the control over the market, right? For now, Neither bulls nor bears are winning. We are back below the level of the below the standard moving average, simple moving average, and right now it's not clear who is actually the winner. If the bulls can hold above 72,000, it's bullish. If the bulls will break, if the bears will break below 78,924 or even below this level here, which is the major technical support in the short term, very short term, 67,361, the outlook remains bearish. That's everything from me for today. Thank you very much for watching this analysis, and I hope I see you guys next time. Take care and bye bye.